Good morning, everyone, and very welcome to Vicenza Oro September edition 2021. I'm Marco Carniello, and I'm the director of the Jewelry and Fashion Division of Italian Exhibition Group. And on behalf of all the team, I thank you for being here in Vicenza and for everyone who is now watching this event online. So it's a very special edition. We have been closed for around 21 months. So just imagine how was this all in the last months. But we are now here. Is a wonderful edition. Is a wonderful moment with a lot of meanings. We have here in these pavilions, in these halls, around 800 exhibitors from all over the world. 70% of those are Italians. 30% are from other 24 countries. Unfortunately, we cannot have our friends from India, from China, from Hong Kong. They definitely are still in trouble. So we pray for them, and we really hope to see them in January. But the numbers are great. The numbers are great because we are also covering all the value chain, the supply chain. We have in the technology, the gems, the production, and the brands, high-end brands, fashion brands. We have everyone here together with all of you. To do that, you definitely need some courage, and we had courage. You definitely have the responsibility to do it, because yes, you have the courage, but you have also the responsibility to take this courage and to do things. As a leader, as a leading show in the world, we couldn't stay just calm and see what was happening. Secondly, you need the planning. Obviously, there's a golden team behind everything you see that is working to make everything you see happen. And definitely, you need a lot of vision. Vision to understand what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen in a few weeks, what's going to happen in months. And talking about vision, we cannot mention no one else than our Trendvision, our work we do as an independent observatory of trends in jewelry, and our Paola De Luca. Thanks, Paola, for being always with us, because we're talking about vision, and Paola is the one who has been leading our observatory for years, looking at trends, looking at forecasts, looking at vision, and probably we couldn't do anything you see here without having such a vision. So thank you so much, Paola, for your work together with all our team and your team. And our honorable guests, I know very well, but I let you introduce. So thanks, everyone, and thanks, Paola, for being with us in Vicenza Oro September 2021.
Thank you. I waited for a few moments because someone was supposed to give me, the time to start speaking, and that's why I was pausing. I was like, where should I look? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, to people here and to people online. I am emotional here today, and I might be not as smooth as I was because I was home for 21 months, like most of us, with my cat behind the screen, looking at people, having meetings. Sometime I did some like Instagram lives. I didn't even know how to go live on Instagram. I was not as good, of course, as Katerina, Perez and other incredible influencers. I tried to just jump, as many of us, on digital age. And digital age doesn't mean owning a smartphone. So today I'm particularly touched, like Marco said, because I feel honored and emotional because we are finally here. This time, of course, made us pause and change deeply inside. I think the world has changed and we have changed. And so I did as well. So there are too many things that happened during this past 22 months, and it's nothing light, I have to say. Some negative, but also incredible things have happened. And so even though I'm known to speak by heart, I wrote something which is the article of our TrendBook, which this edition at this time is for the first time digital only. We will have a collector issue in January because it's the 20th edition. So I'm particularly proud myself, together with Trendvision, of course, jewelry and forecasting team. We are very proud that we are at the 20th edition of the TrendBook. The TrendBook has changed, and I'd like to say a few things about the TrendBook, because I think the time has come where understanding the market being from its strategic perspective, and this is something that I underline very much, because very often, even though I've started trend forecasting in the early 90s, people are still asking me if hoops are in or out and which colors is in or out, and that's not what we do for a living as forecasters. What we do is we analyze the market, we collect data and information, we try to understand metrics, and now people that they are online starting to do digital campaign, they understand what it is targeting a consumer based on their age, demographic, their psychographic, their geographic location, could be global, national, local, what kind of interest they have. And that's what we do for a living. And only by understanding these informations and understanding and having a deep knowledge of the market and being able to decode informations, which right now they're very strong online, being movement. We have movement online. Hashtags represent movement, topics, things that are happening online. So now we start speaking all the same language. That's what trend forecasting is about, is acquiring this knowledge and applying it into our everyday, hopefully, way of working. So I wrote something, I'll read it very quickly, and then we'll go over the TrendBook. And we have two important specialists there. They're now live also on online. But before I start, I'd like to present my honorable guests, which are, well, they said, okay, that's great. I'd like to start from Emanuela Burgener, which is the CEO and founder of Margherita Burgener. We're going to have Akash Das, which is going to be online, and maybe they're going to show him very soon. We are continuing with Nina Dzhokhadze. I hope I pronounced it well. I had the crash course before, the show, because honestly, I cannot pronounce it. It's my limitation. Isabella Yan, also, she's going to be live from Singapore as well. Katerina, Perez, she's part of Digital Disruption, representing Digital Era, of course. And last but not least, actually, I'm honored to have on stage Mr. Augusto Ungarelli, a very iconic entrepreneur of the Italian jewelry sector, also one of the Jewelers Club founder, and many, many other important things. He represents Italian excellence together with many others, but thank you for being on stage. Grazie.
Grazie.
So, Rehumanization, the awakening. The world seems to be in a state of revolution. That's a line from Jim Morrison, as the pandemic has accelerated change due to digital transformation, which appeals for immediate action due to climate change and global social and economic inequality across society. Pausing our life for over a year has pushed society inwards with the resulting awakening of rehumanization. There is a renewed appreciation for human relationship, emotional balance, cultural heritage, and family roots. Rehumanization translates into the slow movement, which is becoming the way forward in seeking spiritual and physical well-being, backing local communities, limiting pollution and waste, and supporting the weakest. The pandemic has made clear how everything is interconnected, from geopolitical issues, the economy, civil rights, health, and medical issues. The Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, of the United Nations have taken center stage for everyone, and the 3 Ps, people, planet, and profit, will be leading our economy. Circular design is the way forward, where past, present, and future needs to merge into measurable business practices in every industry. And reusing, repurposing, recycling, rethinking, redesigning products and material, and creating new business models and service. Digital disruption has transformed our lives, affecting consumer behaviors and market dynamics, and change is driven by consumers. Global brands are now targeting non-consumers, shifting their communication campaign from elite to new niche communities, transforming design and services, moving to experiential online platforms. A new wave of mutants is becoming mainstream, celebrating imperfection in gender, age, beauty codes, and ethnics. The new hybrids are using morphing with technology, plastic surgery, natural and lab-grown materials. No rules is the motto, echoing the 1970s, seeking a new freedom. Activism is stronger than ever, showing up in all kinds of expressions. Civil rights are reflecting marketing and communication technology. Black Lives Matter, among others. The luxury and jewelry sector is slowly catching up. An industry has survived centuries of local and economic transformation, now facing historical challenges with generational change, digital disruption, and a new set of values. We will be able to embrace the future and transform the jewelry sector for the new era? I don't know. But as Martin Luther King said, I have a dream, and this dream, we will do it together. So, welcome to our session. As I mentioned, I started with Jim Morrison by saying there can't be any large-scale revolution until there is a personal revolution on an individual level, and it's got to happen inside. And pausing for over 22 months has changed us deeply, including understanding what are our priorities. Are jewelry a priority? And if yes, why? So I'm going to go very quickly through what are our demographic map, and then I will ask Akash Das, which is live from Mumbai right now, Professor Akash Das, and we'll talk about consumer sentiment. And this is very important. Let me keep track of time, because I have to keep track of my clock there, because I have to make sure that we follow the... So, I need actually the slide also back beside Akash, because I need to look at the demographic map first before I speak with Akash. And this is very important for you to start understanding. So why do we start from consumers? because those are our consumers, actually. That's our audience. That's who's going to purchase our goods, or who are we going to communicate. Either you are a designer, a manufacturer, a marketer, you need to know who are these people. And actually, it's the TrendBook. So this is available. It's you're going to have it, but from Generation Alpha to Gen Z. So as a design thinker, we work on box 1, 2, and 3. And if strategy is innovation, we talk about micro trends being the present, okay? Emerging phenomenal and weak signal being non-linear changes is like something like digital disruption was non-linear, meaning was not an evolution of what was happening in the market as it was 22 months ago. And then box 3 is the future. So we are here looking at past, present, and future, looking at this demographic map. And by demographic divided by qualitative data, and then we have quantitative and qualitative data talking about sentiment. So look at millennial. The people is talking about millennials being the important segment. The youngest is 26 and the oldest is 41. It's not the young anymore. I mean, it's not the youngest. And Gen Z be the youngest. So are we aware of that? And then we're going to be speaking with the digital analyst and specialists like Katerina. She's going to tell us about this. And then we get into Gen X's, the 42s and 50s, like me. I'm an Xers. And then the boomers and the teenagers. You know, everything has changed. How is it affecting our lives? So now I'm going to have Akash Das live, and he's going to comment. Thank you, Akash. It's an honor to have you. Thank you very much. You look great. Thank you for your time. And I know there is a time difference. So we are honored to have you. And please connect us between, what it is that, the demographic consumers and the consumer sentiment. Thank you, Akash.
Thank you so much, Paola. Greetings, everyone at Vicenza. I'm hoping that you guys are having a wonderful time. And as Paola said, I'm just going to give you a quick heads up about 2023 plus consumer sentiments. And as Paola rightly said, we always start with consumer research because it allows us to understand who are we really designing for, who are we really strategizing for. And in any business analysis and any kind of market analysis, we do something called sentiment analysis to try to understand what is going to be the consumer's emotions. And decoding it is very important because it allows brands to make choices, the right kind of choices when designing products and experiences. The last 2 years has been disruptive, and we have spoken about it, but it also allowed people to be resilient and reflect upon who they are and how they can improve their life more meaningfully. Brands and creatives are required now to understand this evolving consumer who expects optimism, celebration, security, and reconnection to their nature as well as the nature that is around them, as these have become key priorities when we are designing new products, experiences, and platforms. The consumer that we are going to be seeing in 2022 and 2023 will put a lot of importance on kindness and care, and they will revel and immerse in more sustainable, circular, and even frugal lifestyles. The relationship to life is renewed in the past 2 years, and they're expected to continue giving importance to family, work-life balance, experiential travel, and balanced self-growth. And while we talk about the emotions and sentiment mapping, we are also trying to understand what are the different kinds of trends and how do these emotions basically translate into these different trends. And there are multiple types of trends because they range and manifest over different timelines. They have different impacts in terms of demography and in terms of geography. So what you see on the screen right now are some of the most important types of trends that we research on. Megatrends, which can last about 10 to 15 years. They impact all industry sectors of design and lives. For example, climate change, resource scarcity, or Internet of Things. These can allow companies to funnel their resources into long-term growth and strategy roadmaps with the sightline to anticipate market forces. Macro trends are generally something that branch from megatrends, and they can last anywhere in between 5 to 7 years, and they provide you data on consumer priorities, emerging market segments, evolving lifestyles, and that allows brands to innovate with strategy and vision. The last is microtrends, which are mostly short-term opportunity of application and manifestation. They can range anywhere between 6 months to 12 months. They're more specific to sectors. So basically, jewelry might be having a very specific microtrends, and fashion might be having separate microtrends. But they allow you to, they provide you season-specific, category-specific data, enabling creative and strategic decision-making to happen more accurately. And it has more direct implications on sales, branding, and marketing.
So we are, I like to say that we are, as you can see, nerd of trends. You know, we are very specific, and we wanted to share a little bit of what it takes to come up with a research like the TrendBook. It's really like something that we wanted to really give you the opportunity to understand that, but this is published in the book, and then you can, you know, basically access. Let's go very quickly in the macro direction,
Sure.
and then we go with Isabella into product directions in the following seasons. Thank you, Akash.
Definitely, Paola. Thank you so much. And I'm going to take you through very, very quickly. Of course, all of this is in the book, but very, very quickly as to what are some of the 4 major macro directions that we have researched on and we positively believe is going to impact luxury and jewelry segment, as well as other segments in the coming 5 to 7 years. And one of the biggest ones that we have noticed is called restored verse. And it's going to be majorly linked with the Gen X, Millennials, and Gen Z cohorts, and it's going to be born out of a very direct response to our experiences in the past 2 years. This macro trend will be about restoring our senses, our dreams, our bodies through self-care and rest, as that's becoming a pivotal perspective right now for people, and they're looking out, they're seeking out sensorial, deep connections to our planet, to our relationships, and even to our homes. It'll be very integral for brands and creatives provide luxury that boosts and targets these urges. Euphoria is the second macro trend that we are looking at, and it will be majorly visible in millennial and Gen Zs. And it's going to be a celebratory, high energy, and a hyper optimistic macro trend, again, stemming from our past experiences in the last 2 years. But it's more amplified by the last 2 years. We've been sort of feeling boxed in for a while, and this is meant to basically reinvigorate the sense of living life to their rawest extremes, exploring many dynamics of what it really means to be human, right? So Euphoria is going to explore that. It is basically going to be a post-pandemic, it's going to explore the post-pandemic world, and we will experience new perspectives there. The third, a very important macro trend, which is going to be impacting all cohorts, is called slow flow, which is a macro trend where circularity is going to be dominating the ideals of sustainability. I would say sustainability is going to evolve into a more economic perspective, which is what we are calling circular economy. But design has to basically look past its limitations, and that's where the idea of slow design and circular design will come in. But we will also see in slow flow an integration of playful aesthetics, a lot of softer aesthetics, because that is meant to give emotional reassurance, and it's more meant to give joyful stability to what consumers are really looking for in today's world. This macro trend will bring in also a strong ethos of climate positivity and activism, which we see is growing a lot stronger now, especially with millennials and Gen Zs taking the helm, but all the cohorts now joining forces. It's going to create new opportunities for brands. It's also going to create new opportunities for policies to be made around sustainability and circularity at Crux. The last macro trend that we are looking at very deeply, and we are kind of following everything that is going on, and we are calling it the neo smart. It is the newest way in which smart design is going to increase in our life. And this macro trend is slowly and seamlessly looking at hybridizing technology and craft, humans and machines. The two polarities are going to start coming up together in a very collaborative and adaptive platforms and techniques. This is going to majorly impact the lives of Gen Zs and Gen Alphas, but over a period of time, we will see this macro trend impacting almost all sectors and all segments of design. And it will allow you to design for the metaverse, which is going to be an extended reality, which we are slowly entering with Bitcoins and Ethereums, as well as 3D manufacturing and digital NFTs that we're seeing coming in. And we'll be looking at innovating new experiential platforms. There'll be brands that will have numerous opportunities to expand their digital offerings in this macro trend through AI, 3D printing, VR, AR, as well as additive manufacturing. So these are 4 big directions that we have noted, and we're very optimistic about the future. And over to Paola now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Akash, for your time in Mumbai, and best of luck to our friends. We are very close in India, and
Yes.
thank you for your vision and support. Thank you very much. Now,
Thank you.
so I think it's very important to understand when we get into trend forecasting what it takes to get into product. It's not just for us walking around and say, well, green is in or pink is out. That's irrelevant for us. What it's the insight that we're bringing to the table is a strategic perspective that is a methodology of work and application. So starting from who are we, what is the environment and the socio-cultural shifting and how is affecting, therefore, our industry is very relevant. But now we're going to Panorama, and we're going to present, let's say, the main design directions reflecting what consumer sentiment are basically highlighting and what's happening now already, but leading going forward. So another important parenthesis before I pass it over to Isabella Jan, we categorize this, let's say, design direction or product direction with naming. We classify with, a name. But besides, it doesn't matter if you call it gamification or you call it doesn't matter. It's important to understand the direction of the market. So it could be called A, B, C, and D, or red, pink, and yellow, but we categorize data. That's very important. So we create a case history and we collect data, and the data are numbers. The data are online, they collect data, and data are analyzed. We classify this data. So let's pass it over Isabella Jan, which is live from Singapore. Isabella, beautiful Isabella, good afternoon. Thank you for your time. And she is one of our international team and a jewelry editor and specialist, and she's going to introduce our theme. Pass it over to you, Isabella. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paola, and everyone here for joining me in this virtual session on jewelry directions. Super thrilled to be on this virtual session. So I'll just quickly present you the 6 themes, and we'll also share you an edited version of the 2023 forecast and the general outlines of the key trends. So recently, we are seeing jewelry, going beyond purely self-expression and offering a sense of escapism from reality. It's increasingly being seen as modern vessels of hope, charged with powerful messages, memories, energetic thoughts, and emotions. And I think we can all agree, as Akash said, the pandemic has forced us into upgrading and changing the way we live and interact with the world. And within the jewelry sphere, this has been marked by a breadth of designs that are focused on, number one, soothing the mind, connecting with nature and ourselves, bringing joy and meaning back to the forefront of our lives. So for the first theme, I'd like to introduce you to geo-design. So here, jewelry designers are incorporating geometric shapes into rather elegant and angular statement pieces. And this is giving birth to creations that almost veer beyond the future. Jewels tend to be inspired by radically modern architecture, sculpture, combining strong lines, color, and perspective to create pattern illusion and depth and dimension. Designs tend to be made up of repeated simple shapes like squares, hexagons, triangles that interlock and flow perfectly on the body. We're seeing multi-dimensional shapes mixed with metal finishes, sometimes interspersed with color enamels, pavé elements, and custom cut gemstones. Many of these pieces tend to be individual pieces, not really in suites or sets, and this is to be mixed and matched by the consumer. Of course, the timeless appeal of Art Deco, the Cubist movement, abstract art also continue to be a source of inspiration. The next popular trend is what we call gamification, where we're seeing a new sense of excitement, playfulness, and a jovial approach to adornment. With optimism being on the horizon, designers here are embracing a future, through a hopeful future of vibrant, playful, and mood-boosting jewels. For instance, think of neon enamels, candy colors, playful to monochromatic colors that create eye-catching pieces. And designers are also experimenting with the rainbow spectrum as well. And I tend to like to think that these jewels tend to bring the inner child within us. And it's, a reminder for us not to take ourselves so seriously, especially during these times. Just quickly, playfulness is sought through satirical figures, kitsch details, movable elements, and banal everyday objects. Silhouettes also include mini hoops, stackable rings, links, and letters and initials. And also we see the leather choker, which kind of adds a 90s wave of millennial nostalgia. Organica is another key trend concept, and designs here aim to create a healthy closeness to nature. Of course, there's this greater adoration for the outdoors and the natural world, and this is reflected in the use of gemstone inclusions, organic shapes, and tactile forms. Designers here are really redefining what fine jewelry could be by incorporating gemstones in their rawest and most natural state. They're harnessing simple settings, showcasing the extensive mineral kingdom through sliced gems, and really just showcasing nature's perfect imperfections. The human hand, the artisanal human hand, is also made evident through metal manipulation and rustic settings. Humble materials are reimagined through grain patterns, coral, oxidized metals, keishi pearls, and really bringing organic texture to the forefront. Another key trend in this particular narrative is sentimental stories. Of course, it's a concept that harks back in the Victorian era through lockets and, of course, mourning jewels. Here we are seeing a renewed attachment to meaningful jewelry that's rooted in symbology and sentimentalism. These could be our collective travels, an emblem of romantic love or friendship. And this notion of encapsulating personal emotion is becoming more profound than ever before. We're seeing a modern generation finding novelty and psychological comfort through new age symbols, zodiac signs, and storytelling charms, adding a beautiful mystical twist to our personal everyday adornment. This is seen in secret rings, cluster charms, lockets that evoke these emotional stories. And the materials here are very diverse, from photography, reclaimed objects, to mixed media, micro-mosaics, and cameos. Now we move on to green footprint. Of course, the world is pivoting towards more sustainability, and designers are transitioning towards circular economy, breathing new life to waste materials, embracing upcycling and repurposing. And there's this renewed appreciation for the earth, which is calling on environmental and social change. And this commitment to sustainability is shown in established and new circular designs, blended models, and a vast experimentation of alternative materials like ceramic, wood, titanium. recycled metals to even precious plastic. We're seeing eco-friendly materials being combined with rather enchanting floral designs, and designers are forging precious flowers from recycled paper, of course, plastics, metals, and this notion of environmentalism is on the rise, and I think it's very much going to replace luxury as the new status symbol. So last but not least is the final trend, fluid core. Unisex jewellery here, once relegated to the fringe culture, is now taken to the mainstream. These include creative, rule-breaking, individualistic aesthetics that really underpin this style. And we're seeing more of a liberated and inclusive approach. Elements may include fluid, coiled shapes, urban, industrial, and pared-down silhouettes, functional, modern, androgynous expressions that are translated into detachable earrings, carabiner clips, safety pins, and minimal silhouettes that are rendered in hoops, even the ear pin that threads through the ear. So the aesthetic is very much quite edgy, bold statement pieces. Materials also encompass yellow and black gold, pave, hard stones, pearls, and the notion of the white pearl, which is seen as a very much feminine material, is being freed from its traditional connotations, and it's acquiring universal value. The fact that we're seeing men embracing pearls is also a huge development, in my opinion, in the shifting perception of the world of fine jewellery. And just to wrap up quickly with the watch directions as well, of course, we are seeing a parallel between fine jewellery and watches. Firstly, one of the themes is advanced playfulness, which harnesses sustainable materials, pop colours, techno-sporty pieces. Secondly, bejeweled watches, which are encrusted in gemstones, diamond dials, and precious materials. We're also seeing secret watches that appear as jewellery, but hidden with watch mechanics. Fanciful art is the third theme, and as the name suggests, it's art-inspired, showcasing fine craftsmanship, painted dials, and fantasy dreamscapes as well. Limited edition is becoming more and more increasingly seen in the market, increasingly seen in the collector's market, which is eventually going to acquire long-term value for investment. And lastly, simple core, which is about reviving classical designs and tradition in genderless, simplistic lines and neutral shapes. This brings me to the end of my presentation, so thank you very much.
Isabella, you were fabulous and beautiful as always, and you couldn't do a better job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I will actually now, I'm going to do a very quick overview on macro direction, but then I'm going to have my wonderful speakers comment and give feedback about, how they feel about, and, what we presented, but also what is their vision about the upcoming seasons. Very quickly, based on our preliminary introduction, where we basically, first of all, we saw what we have basically understood, we hope. Understanding what trends are about, micro, macro, and mega trends. Micro being our sector, what's happening in our sector. Macro trends, it's what's happening on a larger and broader perspective in every part of our life and will be effective, our sector among others, from interior design, lifestyle, and everything. And mega trends are far future, meaning present, but will be affecting 5 to 10 years from now. So entrepreneurs and large organizations like a trade show and governmental institution will have to keep in mind, and they must have in mind, the 5 to 10 years mega trend, because it's where we have to pick up the emerging phenomenon, the weak signals, what's going to happen from 2 years from now. So the future is really now. The future is not happening 2 years from now. We're doing it now as we speak. So what are the main 6 themes in terms of that we have imagined? Imagine how, not predicting, imagine based on actual data projected together with consumer sentiment looking at macro and mega trends. Connections. We talked about connection. We need to be closer together, relationship. Everything is interconnected. Unfortunately, the pandemic itself connected ourselves. How is it really translating? It's translating into links. Links are stronger than ever, these seasons and more. Not only is gender fluid, either is micro chain or is a macro chain. It's gender fluid is reflecting, is unity, is circularity. Biophilia, nature, upcycling, sustainability, once again, circular design, the slow movement. Utopia, Gen Z being, is enthusiastic, bringing the joy of life, rainbow palette, rainbow color, but also new ethnicity and civil rights and really diversity and inclusion as well. Utopia, nostalgia, going back to our roots and heritage and reinterpreting it with the twist. So this is really something, and we're going to see also new technology, laser etching, new technology, always past, present, and future. Technology playing a big role in these seasons. Slow forward, but also, as you can see, Boucheron, projecting a digital palette, the palette, oleography, incredible. Oleography technology will be, we're going to be seeing each other on screen just with oleography, not just on it. So everything in the next 2-3 years, we're going to see unexpected disruption. And this is incredible. It's incredible if we embrace it. Dreamscaping, escaping from reality, color, once again, a euphoric mood, escaping from reality. And that's it. And now I really want to go back to my wonderful speakers. Actually, I'll go back to to my original slide, because I'd like to have my wonderful visionaries. And I'd like to start with Augusto Ungarelli. Here we are.
Here we are.
So, Augusto, I'm honored to have you as a friend, besides being a colleague that I admire for many years. And I'd like you to, what do you think about the international, scenario in our jewelry industry, and of course, what's happening with the Made in Italy, sector, the jewelry sector and the luxury sector? Maestro.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me say first how privileged I am here today, first of all, to be here and to speak about the future, to listen to the future. This is, for me, something that, for my age, it's a very privilege, but it's also an emotional side. And I am also emotional, in an emotional side, because to be here on the stage with this fascinating lady, I'm really privileged. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here with you. What do you say? We are living right now in this event that is, I think, a demonstration of how the Italian industry and the Italian world, the jewelry Italian world, want to express to the world. I want to express that we are alive and we are active. We are ready to play the game as before the lockdown, before the pandemic tragedy. And what it means, actually, we are in a positive mood. I mean, our world, goldsmith and jewelry, is positive. We cannot say it is a good air. And I wanted to explore what is the need, the mood of this situation. First of all, I wanted to mention and I wanted to remember what is our country and what is doing for the jewelry industry. We are talking about over 7,500 companies in our country that they are working jewelry and goldsmith, and they have a network of 32,000 people working. So it's something real That is a reality, a strong reality. And for our country also, for Italy, is an important site because the production of our industry is 80% export. It means that the rest of the world is attracted by our products. Why? In the past, we have a tradition. We have a long tradition where Italy was leader in terms of production of goldsmith and jewelry. Now we are not in the same place, but we are an important player all around the world. And especially now, there is, in our country, we are living a phenomenon. There is here companies, not branded companies, normal companies that they are creator, artisan, manufacturers. There is huge quantity of value. And there are, in the rest of the world, you know, brands, global brands. This is the two elements that they are the reality of the world consumers. But we have to think about the numbers. 10 years ago, these two words, they had for the non-branded, I call non-branded not because I wanted to make a diversity, but to understand brands. For me, they are the global brands.
Being Bulgari, Boucheron,
Cartier,
and then the
so on.
SMEs, being the small and medium enterprises,
Yeah.
non-branded, yes.
Yeah. 10 years ago, the unbranded companies in the world was 85% of the volume of the production, and brands 15%. Now, unbranded is 60% of the amount of the production, and the brands, they are 30%. But what exactly yesterday, Stefania Trenti from in the Club degli Orafi section, she said that the next years, till 2025, the branded company, they will grow from 8 to 12%. This is an incredible number. It means that I'm looking at our country, our structure, our artisan small company, and most part of the growth of these brands is coming from Italy. And that means something. Means that we are able to satisfy the quality, to understand the needs of the new markets, and we are depending in some part of the strategy of the big brands. That means two things. One, that, thanks God, is a good job. I mean, I'm coming from Valencia, and in Valencia now there is a very positive attitude of work. There is demand generated by the brands. On the rest, there is also a, how do you say, a structure, a different ambience that is the small artisan creative life, you know, that they are producing. This is the gap. We keep to maintain the strategy, the creativity, the skill, the artisan way, the vision, because the vision that you are talking, the vision, the creativity, it comes from mind, from hearts, you know, that they can produce and they can try.
Can I just like try to, you know, also, so you're saying that, just to decode, you know, that the global brands are picking up in terms of market segment. They went from 15-20s, now they are forecasted to be up to 45% versus the non-branded being this the independent designers and the small medium companies, which sometimes they have a names, but they are not global brands. But the global brands are fed by the small ones, which are the creative people and usually working as. But at the same time, the challenge, it is to keep creativity going and not be overwhelmed and flattened by the global brands. So this is going to be the challenge. And maybe the challenge, and for our country among others and our system, it is to make sure that the creative people, the designers, and the small creative manufacturers will keep their fluid and their vision rather than just, so we have to keep up our creativity and research in order to feed the world, including the global brands. Correct?
Correct.
I just tried it to consolidate.
Perfect.
Okay, just wanted because,
One more point is, if we are looking at the future, and if we are looking at the trends of the growth, and I am sure that there is not only the growth of the brands in the future, but also the medium, the artisan, the non-branded. I mean, we see a very big attraction for the jewelry. Okay, so the question is that Italy is a place where we have talent, we have tradition. The point is how to transmit at the new generation the goldsmith philosophy, to attract young generation to make something that is professional training.
I have a girl for you.
More than one, I think.
Thank you, but now we're going to have a fluid conversation. I'm going to go each of the. Well, I don't know if she's the only one, but she is the one, for sure. I'd like to switch it over to Katerina Perez, just because, of course, we have here the experience, the tradition, the knowledge of the international market and the Italian, sector. But then we have Katerina Perez, which represents digital disruption. Bloggers and influencers and socials were there all along. It's not that they just started during the last 2 years or 22 months. I mean, the pandemic accelerated change. So even me, I'm honest, during the last, year and a half, 2 years, I've started more being present online because I was too busy offline, And then all of a sudden, I was forced to look online more. And that's where the players, that they were there all along, like Katerina Perez, they were center stage because they knew the language, they know the algorithm, they know the hashtag, they know the communication language of images and so on, and they have the storytelling, and she's a master in marketing. So how are we going to promote and transfer these informations or whatever information to the new generation, which is not a matter of only demographic, but the new consumer, despite of their age, despite of their location, now they have a new platform. Katerina Perez, per favore.
Thank you all. Thank you, Paola, for having me here, and thank you everyone for being here. You said about so many right things in the presentation which can really be applied to social media as well, including things like staying connected and having a community. That's another thing which was the basis of my work. It always is, and I started my work about 10 years ago now. It's soon going to be 10 years, and for me it was always important not to be a famous blogger or to put myself to the front. For me, it was always important to create community. Community of people who love jewelry, community of people who love jewelry that I show on my social media and which I write about on my website. And what I see happening right now, we're talking about trends, right? So this is one of the biggest trends on social media, is having a community. Because your social media is not your catalog. It's not just about showing we have this collection, we have that collection, and new things are coming out. This is the platform to build loyal followers, but also loyal consumer, your friends, the people who you connect with, and because you have, not just because they're your clients or your followers, but because they're people who have the same passion, your soulmates. And this is what I see happening on my social media. That would help me in my work. And that's what I see happening in the world of social media. Jewelers, brands, gem dealers, anyone who is present online, on Instagram, on Facebook, anywhere. When they put personal presence in what they do, when they put their personal touch, when they show their personality, when they stay connected to their audience, they are bound to have success. I've recently launched a course, How to Sell Jewelry on Instagram, and I've seen so many designers who treat their platform as a catalog. But let's think, why do people come to social media? Do they come to shop to Instagram? Do they come to shop on Facebook? Well, no, you're talking about escapism. For us, social media is the way to escape reality, watch some videos, look at pretty pictures. And funny thing, you see, we're talking about pandemic. I remember when the COVID hit and everyone obviously didn't expect it. And I had a number of people writing to me, people are dying, why are you doing this? It's not appropriate. And the same exact people 2 weeks later emailed me or sent me a direct message saying, thank you for doing this because we find this is a safe place. We come here and we can forget a little bit what's going on outside. And this is jewelry, what jewelry is, right? It's not just about status symbol or investment or, self-adornment. It's a lot about emotion. It's a lot about art as well. It's a lot about, safe place in a way, as you said. The second thing which I want to draw your attention about social media is staying connected, staying engaged. And by engaged, I'm not talking about just replying to comments, this goes without saying, or answering to people on your DMs. It's about having consistent presence on social media. Another thing which I find is jewelers, designers, of course, they're busy with their collections, they're busy with selling. And what happens, they post once a week, twice a week, and they don't see results because the algorithm works in a way that the more active you are, the more present you are, the more you engage with your followers, the more interesting content you put out there, the more reward you'll get in terms of being visible and being pushed by Instagram to your followers. So it's about consistency in posting, because consistency means reliability. I'm here, I'm busy, I'm looking at what's happening at the fair, and still I post, I do stories because I know people expect it. That's another way also to connect to your audience. For me and for you, you need to make sure that when you manage your social media, you don't just share what you think you want to show. This is again one of, let's say, mistakes of jewelers. They only show on social media what they want to sell, what they want to promote, but you need to step in the shoes of people who follow you. What do they want to see? Do they want to get to know you? Again, since we're talking about trends, another big trend is personal presence, being there on social media too. I'm not encouraging you to start posting video of yourself, selfies, what I've done this morning, but put a little bit of personal touch, If you don't want to show your face, add some quotes. Show your perspective, show your vision, and also share knowledge, because, we think that everyone knows everything about jewelry, but no, your followers, there can be some people who are absolutely clueless what jewelry is, and if you educate them, you're all professionals in this industry, if you share your knowledge, if you educate them, it will help you to build trust, it will help you to build loyal following, loyal audience, it will show your expert knowledge, which also a big advantage for you in order to sell your jewelry. So it's about staying connected, being present there, try all different ways Instagram work. We have Reels now, we have IGTV, we have stories, we have posts, we have carousel posts, we have so many things. We can invite guests, to our Instagram. Do all this a little bit so that you can stay connected to your audience in different ways. Because really, some people prefer to watch stories, other people prefer to see the feed. Some people only come to my Instagram to see what IGTVs I've done. So stay connected, show your presence, show yourself, show your expertise, build the community, talk to your followers, and also be responsive. If someone asks you something, if someone comments, please reply, even if it's a little like or a little quick comment or quick reply, people will still appreciate that you pay attention to them.
Katerina, I want to thank you, and I hope people is taking notes, and I am happy, and I know that you launched the course, and I like that you had this kind of, you shared these insights because you were very clear, and I want the audience to understand what it takes to be popular, or to have an audience, or to build the community. How can we sell jewelry? How can we storytell? How can we, it's like, Augusto Ungarelli was saying, how can we transfer the information to new generation or a new consumer segment? And that there are techniques, it's a system, it is this. You see, she was we have to post. I did pictures myself all of the sudden because I realized I'm not as quick and prompt myself. It doesn't come natural. It's a discipline if you want to do it. If you don't want to do it, you have to hire people like her or other people. But in order to be present, it's like having I don't want to say a store, but a club. It's your club. It's people that are following you and they believe in who you are. Could be a manufacturer, could be a designer, could be a professional, could be anybody. Like we have Bizita online, Esther Liger, we have David Broth, my beloved friends, Jewellery Outlook founder, very important international, of course, editor, thank you. Those are like old friends and also people that we regularly collaborate from years. Those are people very active. They are like pros. And so if companies to understand that we need new skills. In order to succeed, we cannot believe that we can only produce jewelry, like Augusto was saying, and a craftsman. If we cannot do it, we have to help. Now, some people don't have the money. That's the truth. Companies struggle to pay the bills. How can we survive? How can we shift from analog to digital? Because some people, they struggle, Carolina. They cannot afford to do hire someone like you, or even younger. And guess what? There's not the knowledge of even, because some people, they think they post and it's enough. Mm-hmm. But you have to have a strategy. And strategy has to be acquired, and you know that. So we have to take courses to hire someone that can do our job properly. Does it make sense? And it is a very difficult transitional time. And now I'm going to go to Emanuela Burgener, which is representing what Augusto Ungarelli was saying before, which is creativity, vision, craftsmanship, innovation. Emanuela and I, like many of these people, we became friends because of being in the same sector. She is a visionary. She started doing, I remember, over 10 years ago, she was doing these amazing pieces of jewelry, masterpieces in titanium, colored titanium. She was one of the first, before many other let's say, more known or let's say more better marketer designers in titanium. And recently, she presented this incredible collection called Pure Plastic, which is, as always, as a visionary, she's combining plastic with gold and diamond. So, wonderful creative woman. Tell us about how you get inspired, how you are upcycling, how are you having these amazing visions.
Thank you so much. Buongiorno a tutti.
Ciao.
I'm so really so happy to be here today. This is a special day. It's September 11, and I am so grateful to be here. So thank you again for inviting.
Thank you.
And you know what? I think that we have to be, first of all, loyal to our feelings. And when I start, I would like to talk about the precious plastic and titanium connection with the world of traditional, let's say, classical jewelry with precious materials. Titanium, we started, I think it was 10, 12 years ago, 12 years ago probably, trying to understand what was that. You know, we are quite curious, and it was like a challenge, and it was a very interesting idea to do something different, you know. So it was a challenge and also a game, a play, let's say, what is, and not even imagining how we would have been, you know, long-lasting. It was a long-lasting love with it. Nowadays, I think we produce something like 85% of our production is made by titanium. People love it. Of course, it's a sophisticated kind of clientele, people that already have probably best of jewelry, maybe also high and well-known, the big name jewelry, and they want to move to the next step. They want to collect and enjoy something different. And it was hard at the beginning, but then of course when you start creating, then you understand how to do that. So nowadays I think we are quite good, and it's really good to use it because You can play with colors. We love colorful jewelry, and you can match with other stones, and it's really a big possibility to explore either new pieces, light, so you can do big brooches, and very wearable, and as well presenting them in either like high jewelry with a lot of diamonds, or just a little touch of stones and diamonds for a more everyday, I would say, kind of jewelry. And this is something that is very much appreciated by, I would say, international clientele, as well as to some people that really are focusing on what's next. So they discover. We have clientele who search, they are scouting new brands, and I would say like niche brands, so like as Margherita Burgener is. And when I decided 2 years ago to start this little collection of precious plastic, it was because I met a friend of mine. She's an artist that was upcycling plastic since 30 years, so much before than what is fashionable, let's say, now. And we knew very well, we are from the same mountain little village, and we knew exactly what we wanted to say, producing and collaborating in this very disrupting kind of jewelry. Because we not only wanted to use plastic to tell how important it is to focus on the need we have now to focus on and to save the planet, and to pay attention to waste of materials and all things that the new generation, our kids, are telling us so daily. But also we wanted to represent, and that's why we choose the achillea, which is a little flower that is growing in between rocks and ice on high mountain. And this was also meaning we have to protect as well the nature. And also was recollecting to our tradition and to the old habits of our mothers, that were going on the mountains to pick up those flowers for making the herbal tea during the long winter days. So it's a meaningful project, not only upcycling, which is very important, But
I want to jump in because this is a very good seed for a conversation and a short little announcement about, a sustainability, like you're talking about sustainability in a broader perspective, because very often, today, because most of us, including me, before I recently got certificate with Cambridge University on sustainability and circular economy, but the truth of the matter is most people is like, well, sustainability, reducing CO2 emission, waste, but that's not it. It's many other things. And when you're talking about this kind of vision, which is including people, planet, it's very important. Includes also community, sentiment, sustainability, helping that's a lot. There is a lot connection. So we have to create the parameters, the measurements for what sustainable is, including for our sector. Which is, yes, it is traceability of the supply chain, but there is so much, including craftsmen, supporting craftsmen, developing and taking to our economy and supporting our local economy, but as well embracing the global economy and diversity in different parts of the world. This is an open conversation, and tomorrow at 4:30 during the CIBJO event, there is also RJC, will be presenting a very interesting project that will be announced officially by RJC and CIBJO together, and is a program for designers, and will be starting online, will be a free for designers online, and it's going to be about circular design and sustainability. It is a wonderful project that will be online, and it's going to be starting in October. So tomorrow at 4:30, you're going to know more about it. A press release will be distributed, but it's just something to connect to you, what is happening, and thank you to people like you that we look forward to have more online.
Yeah, and about sustainability, what I think it's very important nowadays as well is about Made in Italy, and what Augusto was saying. Niche brands, Made in Italy, you know, nowadays represents a lot of, has a lot of importance for big brands, and as Made in Italy is also well known and so well appreciated for the market, for the, you know, the making of the jewelry, you know, and like platform of craftsmanship. But it's also a quite quantity of niche brands. So the brand as we are, Margherita Burgener is a niche brand, and besides we are a very little company, a family company. We are known you know, all over the world because of our history. And of course we are nothing compared to the big brands, which are polarizing, you know, the market. But just because of that, they do well. They are so kind of unreachable, because how can we have the power, you know, to do what they do, or how they communicate, not only in terms of jewelry, but also how they communicate, how they reach the clientele, and how they do the marketing. And so I think that sustainability can be also very important in terms of doing different things to create connections with artists, with the world of art, architecture, you know, all anything that can represent Italy. But as well is kind of important, and I think it will be the very disruptive sustainability matter to find, to drive the attention on those
the smaller
companies, to find people, to find not only connections and collaboration, but partnership and also investors.
I agree.
Because it's such a treasure of us and of Made in Italy, you know. And so it's so important to keep them, to keep us alive and be able to match and play our match.
Thank you, Margherita.
Enough well. Thank you.
I'm gonna swap, because I want to connect Nina to what you said, because Nina represents a very interesting and important showroom, London-based Connect agency. They also, as you know, they have a brand that it's never not. But what I like about Nina is there are other showrooms, but it's a very interesting agency representing designers, and that's why I'm connecting it with Margherita, with Emanuela, sorry, because I also feel that there is also a different wave as well. Meaning that I agree with you, Emanuela, but I also say, and then I'd like to have also, if there is controversy, I like that in terms of discussion, even though I'd like, you know, Augusto to talk about, you know, shows and how we can hybridize what you said. It's like, I see a strong movement of new designers, of younger designer, independent designer, that they are very good online in communicating and building the communities, than Katerina said. So tell us about the independent designers, tell us about your vision, Nina, how you started, and then also you're one of the first showroom that moved and started showing at the Paris Fashion Week and being disruptive in going outside the classical jewelry industry. And this is one of the maybe mistake that our industry, including the Made in Italy, is be doing. So they are too close in their industry and they don't have a broader perspective, and we are silo, meaning only jewelry, only diamonds, only that. Instead, the new communities, it's about opening up new opportunities. Please.
It's very interesting because today I've heard the word connect multiple times. And when I called my agency Connect, I didn't know what we were expecting, you know, what would happen in 2019. And my mission always been that I want to have a showroom where I have very talented, potentially growing designers, and that I want the buyers to see them, because buyers are asking me all the time, Nina, where can we find someone new, someone fresh? Where are they? Where are they hiding? So I just wanted to create the space during the Paris Fashion Week or London Fashion Week, very classic way of introducing and doing the introduction of the buyer or the press with the designer which I have in my showroom. They can be present, they can leave it with me and with my team to do the right connection and find for the designer the right store where you want to be located, how to develop your wholesale business. And this was, physical environment that we're all so used to, especially in fine jewelry, where you need to touch the piece, you need to try it on, you need to hear the story about the designer. What was the inspiration? What is so important about the piece that you're holding in your hand? And as a salesperson and having extensive experience in growing the business and the wholesale business for not only for my brand now and for bigger brands before, but for multiple new designers that are, I can see them now selling in America, or they're selling in Germany, or they're selling in Italy. But this was always done by seeing each other face to face. And what I faced as a showroom, as an agency, that when I realized that I cannot do the showroom anymore. Paris Fashion Week is coming in several months' time, and we're all in lockdown. How can I still introduce the brands? How can they sell their product? Because you need to sell. It's not only about producing, but you need to sell what you are producing. So for me, it was really thinking at that point outside the box and really challenging myself and thinking, what can we do? I am very classical way of introducing. I need to see you, I need to see your face, your eyes, and connect two very important people, buyer and the designer together. But then buyer is in one country and designer is completely in a different country with a different time zone. I'm in London. How can we still use the Fashion Week to make those connections? So that challenge which I faced as an agency in 2019 was we need to do something, and we need to do it now. We cannot wait. Many designers were telling me, Nina, you know what? We'll wait. We'll hold on, and we'll see when it goes. No one knew when it's going to go. We started building the digital platform because I realized that, you know what? I'm still doing it no matter what. I have very talented brands that I want to show to the buyers, and they both need to, get out of their comfort zone and, switch on the Zoom, click on the website, the platform, which we started building. By platform, it sounds for a lot of people like platform. It's something that a little bit, maybe difficult. It's website, basically. We build the website B2B, where as a buyer, even as a press, you log in and you still see all the designers that we represent. Designers had to also work out of their comfort zone, and when I would say them, you know what, you have to switch Zoom now, we have the buyer, they're interested to buy you, just get ready and let's do it. And they were so helpful and so supportive. That's the moment when I felt that this is how connect is happening. You connect no matter what. You can communicate no matter where you are, where you live. If you want your company and your brand to grow and to be seen, there are two ways. And I think I really divided two mindsets that I've witnessed during the COVID.
Yeah.
The mindset which was, we are not ready for digital, we are not ready for participation or introducing our pieces in a digital way. And there was another wave of the designers with a really growth mindset saying, you know what, Nina, let's do it together. Yeah. For me, it was the first time. So we were all doing it in the same, it's experiment, which happened to be that worked so well that if digital communication was plan B, because we could not see each other, we could not travel, it became plan A. All our, I would say, more classic buyers who told me a year ago, we can't do the orders online. We haven't seen the piece. We haven't seen the designer. We need to see the quality. They had no websites, those buyers. They had no online shopping. Now they have websites, now they have online shopping. They feel more confident. So what this challenge made, that it really gave us all who risked at that point to be heard, to be seen, to use the social media. You know, as Katerina said, this is your page. You need to manage it. If you cannot manage it on social media, hire someone or have your friend or someone who helps you. But you need to stay active. And whoever stayed very active during the very challenging times, I think they now see what the result is and how comfortable and confident and strong they became.
Nina, thank you. I want to start wrapping up because time is coming up, but everybody said very important points, and I want to just like recap, and maybe we say a few things with Augusto, kind of really. So basically what's emerging is the world, like the key word is connecting, partnering. And connecting and partnering is part of sustainability and circular economy. Partnering together, supporting each other, being also sustainable with each other. So maybe, and again, this is not an answer, it's a maybe. It's like, let's design a future. We have a dream. And the dream is, maybe if we are small companies and we cannot afford a communication office, maybe if many companies or some designers or maybe Club Bibliography or among others, just I'm throwing some ideas, they can create their own platform. And maybe if Emanuela alone or other designers cannot afford a communication office, maybe with 10 companies, a little bit, everybody can contribute, like the showroom, among others, they can be, and then can become a virtual showroom. Or maybe some of them, they go to Nina, a Connect agency in London, or they go other showrooms, because not everybody has the skills, the knowledge, the know-how to design, produce, manufacture, communicate. How can we be good in everything? We cannot. So how can we enter digital disruption? How can we update, change, evolve? If we don't have this know-how, well, we join forces. And by joining forces, maybe it's affordable to do certain things. Maybe being humble will give us opportunities. So, Augusto, we spoke a few times about the future of trade shows. And actually, Margherita said something, Emanuela, abbi pazienza. Emanuela, you talked about, being eclectic and mixing and having new format. What is your vision?
Of course, we are here in a fair.
Yes.
This is a trade fair.
Yes.
And thank you, Emanuela, for remembering that terrible September 11.
Sì.
I was here with a very good friend, customer, American customer, and we have been living that terrible news here in Vicenza Fair. It was the fair where all over the world was visiting. So my long experience in the fair tell me that without the fair, we couldn't reach the level of our professionality, our possibility of expanding our business out of our country. The fair was for the small niche companies, the best way to promote, to meet, to understand, to learn, and to do business.
Yeah.
That was. I mean, the growth that companies, they did it, and we did it. I mean, it was generated in the trade fairs. But, of course, the evolution of the world, the history, the economy, we face a different challenge, okay? I don't want to make the name, but everybody knows that we had the most important fair, worldwide fair, not far from here, outside in Switzerland, where all the world was exhibiting watches, high jewelry, stones, all the community. There was the place where all the world was present.
The hub to go, yes.
And where all the world was traveling to be there, to see, to understand, to do business. in 2 years, this word is not anymore there. It means that something has changed. And I think that we have to serious thinking about the evolution of our style of life. And the COVID has generated what they said, what they said
Yes.
immediately,
Yes.
you know. We activate immediately something that we didn't thought that was possible, okay? We need to make the challenge with the fairs too, because it's important. Emanuela says, you know, things that they are normal. For small companies, this is the way where they can promote themselves. Without trade fairs, it's difficult. We need to have a place where there is a physical point of meeting, where you face, you know, your counterpart, interest designer, or there is a place where you have to, how do you say, a place where you can exchange your emotion and business, okay? Physical, because supported by the new technology, the new era, the new, but I think we have to make an effort all together.
Yes.
All together for, as you say, a re-evolution.
Revolution.
Is a revolution that we have to take, but it's not a revolution, it's an evolution that has to take in consideration that we are not as we have been 5 years ago, and we have to think about the next 5 years.
There has been a non-linear shift, meaning there was a quantum leap in history, and I believe Vicenza Fair is doing is giving a big effort, but also we are in the, let's say, prototypation moment, you know, prototyping new models, new business models. I think the merging of, or the hybridification or hybridization of digital and having the Katerina Perez of the world, among others here, and having kind of really a think tanking of mixing digital and analog together and rethinking trade shows, which will happen physically throughout the year, maybe in Italy and also around the world, but also online, like Nina was saying, and maybe servicing, you know, the partners, which are the investors, the stakeholders, the buyers, the press, and everybody's here, is a service that has to happen. Build the community has to happen all year around, like Katerina said. And so I thank you, and I hope, you know, thank you for your patience. And it's been an honor. The TrendBook is online, and please support us. We hope that we do a service for you. We thank you very much, and we wish you a wonderful time and watch it. Thank you.